Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today we have a great topic that I think is highly useful and something that probably comes up a lot for people going through a breakup. What's the ideal way to end up breakup? A lot of times you're going through a lot of regrets. You're going through a lot of thoughts of should've, could've, would've. And you get to a certain point where you got to erase the word should've because it's useless. Should have done this, should have done that. If I would have done this, I could have done that. It all doesn't matter. It's all relative because you didn't. And so you have to find a way to accept the fact that I did it. It's done. It's over. Moving forward, what do I want to do? Do I want to make that mistake again? Do I want to double down? So what's the ideal way to end a breakup? What's your views? Please put it in the comments below if you watch this live stream after it's been live. This one comes up. Should I write a letter to my ex to confirm everything? Sure. You're not doing that to get them back. You're doing that for yourself. You're doing that to show them or tell them what you didn't tell them at the breakup. But a lot of times people are just telling them the same thing, looking for a different answer. They believe that if they write it out in a letter, they get the opportunity to not be interrupted. They get the opportunity to get all their feelings, all their thoughts, all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I wish I would have said sorry. I wish I would have said this. I hope they know that I'm sorry. I hope they know that I would never do that again. And that's good and fine, but that's most likely, in most cases, it's not going to get your ex back. It's not going to change the situation. The breakup's still going to go through with. And you're writing that letter for yourself. You're writing that letter to make yourself somehow feel a little bit safer, a little bit more secure that you got everything out. And that's fine. I don't mind if someone does that in the first week, the first 2 weeks, but it's not a tactic or a strategy that is going to have them at your door saying, oh my God, I read the letter. I'm going to get back with you. It's not a Hollywood story. It's not a movie. And that's just not how it plays out, generally speaking. So my suggestion is if you do that, know that you're doing it in an accepting fashion. Know that you're writing that letter and you're telling that individual, hey, I just want to get this all out, but you're actually doing it for yourself. You say you're doing it for them to know, but a lot of times if you were together a long time and you had a really good bond, you guys know everything that went down. You guys know the reason. You two know what's up. And so you throwing it back out there isn't going to sway the tides. Okay. So I have some things to talk about on this. What's the ideal way to end a breakup? Number one, this might surprise some people being the topic, being that I do breakup coaching. There is no ideal way. Okay. The ideal way would probably be something different for each individual because everyone values different things. And so someone that values honesty would say, just be honest with me. Tell me the fucking truth. Someone that values don't hurt my feelings, be kind, let me down easy might say, it's okay if you lie because I don't want to know if you hooked up with someone this last month when we were long distance together. You see how that's different? So the ideal way for you would be different than the ideal way for myself or someone else. And we have circumstances in every breakup that are different that people react to differently. And so we have to keep that in mind. The ideal way, in my opinion, okay, and so that's why I said there is no ideal way for everyone in the world because everyone's different. The ideal way, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is a breakup that brings clarity. And what is clarity? You know why you broke up. You know why you broke up. You're clear on that. It was a problem. It was an issue. It was an issue that's happening for a long time. It's been bothering you. It's been bothering them. You know what's up. You know what the issue is. Get very, very clear on that. Number one. Number two, accept it. Accept it as a problem that hasn't been fixed. It hasn't been fixed for a long time. And is it fixable? You know, a lot of times people say, oh, I wish they would just change. Are they going to change? Most cases, not. If someone's over 25, 30, 35, a lot of times if they're set in their ways and set in their habits, sometimes a breakup has to happen for them to change. Because if they're comfortable and there isn't any consequences to their act or their actions or their habits, why would they change? Habits are comfortable, they're unconscious. It means that you just do them without thinking about them. So if you have in a situation where there's a boyfriend and he's playing video games 8 hours a day and gaining a lot of weight, and the girlfriend hints a few times, like, I'd really like it if you stop playing video games, or you're gaining a little bit of weight. It doesn't bother me that you're gaining weight, but it does bother me that, you're less apt to go out and do this and do that. And the boyfriend's like, yeah, okay. And so one night they do a date night on a Friday night, and then he goes back to playing video games every day because that's comfortable. And he doesn't believe deep down inside, he doesn't believe that she's going to pull the trigger and break up with his ass. And then when she does, it's like, oh my God, I'll quit playing video games. Right? Now that's a problem, and that's a clear problem. I've come across this one before, so that's why I'm using it as an example. I've never been a video game addict. I've come across this before, and the guy goes, well, I quit playing video games now, and I understand, and I appreciate her so much more. And it's like, no. The reason she broke up with you, she gave you a couple chances. Now you built a case that you're a video game player, and she doesn't want to try to change you anymore. She's exhausted, she's tired, and the window of change has already passed. And so for you to break up, you have to get very clear, okay, video games were the big issue and I was gaining weight. Okay, then accept it instead of going, I'll change, I'll do anything it takes, I'm sorry. Accept it, yeah, fuck, I was that person. Okay, then walk away without going over it again and again. So I'll repeat that because I think this is very useful for a lot of people out there. That ideal way to break up in my eyes, get clarity. Why did you break up? Get very clear on that. And if you have to ask the individual, you ask the individual if you're not clear. You ask them a direct question. Then accept it. Now, if you don't agree with it, because somehow you're like, you know what? I didn't play video games that often and I'm not that heavy. Well, you don't have to accept it as part of your identity, but you need to accept that that's their opinion of the situation and you're not going to change it. So you talking them out of that opinion is not going to change. You have to accept the fact that they have a problem and that's why they're breaking up with you. Then when you accept it, that doesn't mean it's not going to hurt. That doesn't mean you're not going to be crying. That doesn't mean that you're not going to be lonely. It just means that you have your head up high and you're like, look, I'm not going to try to talk you out of this. Then walk away without going over it again and again. Once you're clear, once you accept it, walk away without going over it again and again. Here's the problem. Here's what's tough. You'll go over it again and again in your mind, and you'll think, oh, I said this wrong, or I should have said this, or I should have asked this question. That window's already passed, that final talk that you had. Now, if you said some really mean or nasty things, if you got really deep, if you said something about someone's mom or someone's family member, some people throw some really mean darts, right, when they're hurting, because people like to hurt others when they're hurting. And you said something just totally out of pocket, out of line, and you need to apologize for that individual thing, that's okay. Apologize for it, then leave it alone. Do not apologize repeatedly. Do not use it as a bridge to get back together. Do not use it as a bridge to somehow keep talking about the breakup. Just go, hey, I was out of line for what I said at the end. I apologize for that. Done. Many times looking for a different answer to the same question. Okay, so they told you why they broke up. And this is where there's a lot of value in talking to a breakup coach like myself or writing your story out. There's a lot of value in that. And I'll tell you why. Because basically, you go around and you say, my ex told me that I was, again, video games, playing too many video games. I just don't think it's true. Then you ask your friend, then you ask your family member, and you go around and you keep asking people the same question about your breakup because you want to get different answers. You know the fucking answer of why you broke up. If you were together long enough and you had a good connection, you know what happened. You know what's up. Now, when you go back to your ex and you keep asking, but tell me the truth. Did you mess around? Or tell me the truth. They probably already told you, you just weren't listening. Now, when you keep asking them the same question and going over things, that annoys people. That's just a human one-on-one activity that people don't fucking like. And so when you keep tapping them on the shoulder, wait a minute, I want to talk about this again. Wait a minute, we need to sit down and talk about this again. Wait a minute, I want to ask you, are you seeing someone else? I already told you I wasn't seeing someone else. It's not about that. I'm unhappy. And then 3 or 4 days later, you call them, just tell me the truth. I need to know the truth. Are you seeing someone else? The minute when people have to answer the same question over and over again, there's two things. Best case scenario, they have pity for you. They feel sorry for you. And in a man's case, if it's a man, women, you want attraction repellent. It's called pity. Okay. Pity, it means they care about you. It means they have a soft spot for you, but it doesn't mean that, they want to hook up with you again or go out with you and claim you as a partner. Now, on the other side, men being masculine, if a woman, they have a little bit of pity, that can work in their favor sometimes, not always. I don't like that as a road to take, though. The ideal situation to me is to walk away with dignity, honesty, clarity, and acceptance. Let's think about that for a moment. Think about those words. Dignity. This hurts like hell, but God damn it, I'm gonna walk away with my balls in hand. I'm not gonna give away my dignity. Honesty. I told her the truth. I told him the truth. Clarity. I know what happened. I understand why. Acceptance. I don't like it, but I'll accept it. I don't like their opinion. I don't like their point of view. I don't agree with it, but I'll accept it. What other choice do I have to do? Talk them out of it? No, that wouldn't be dignified. That's strong. It still hurts, but when you walk away in a month, 2 months, 3 months, you'll feel better about yourself. Now, I told this story a while back. It was a live stream. There wasn't a lot of people on the live stream at that time. And it suits this. There isn't a lot of live people on the live stream today. Thanks, Brian Union, for hanging strong with me today. I started a little earlier. But when I was in high school, I've talked about this before, freshman year of high school, I played basketball every day in middle school. I started on the team. It was my life. I wasn't going to be Michael Jordan or Larry Bird, but I loved the game. It was a big part of my life. I think my 8th grade year, we played 45 games. We won 3 tournaments. We won first place in the city standings or whatever the fuck it is. Freshman year, I thought I was on the team. I was in tryouts, had a lot of friends on the team. Everything was going good. I was shooting the ball really well. I was a bit slow, and I was underdeveloped. I was small for high school, right? I was like 5'4" or something like that. And that was fine in middle school, but high school, I was a shrimp. Anyways, cut a long story short, I got cut. And I'm not telling you the Michael Jordan story where he got cut freshman year and became Michael Jordan. No. I got cut. That was my first breakup. That hurt like hell. And there was shame involved because there's other people on the team like, damn, you got cut, man. I didn't see that coming. People coming up to me saying like, sorry to hear that, Mac. I mean, there was condolences and shit. I was hurt. It was my life. I didn't accept it. I didn't get clarity on it. What I did is I went straight to the coach. I said, hey, what happened? He's like, well, you got to work harder next year. And me wanting to just be around the team, I said, look, if you want me to be a scorekeeper or help out, I will. He's like, sure, you can be the scorekeeper. I ended up being the scorekeeper, ball boy, and getting the water. That wasn't in my getting the water bottles filled. That was so shameful. I lost all my dignity. And I didn't accept that I got cut from the basketball team. I didn't accept with clarity that I wasn't in good enough shape and I needed to work on my game. I needed to practice more. I didn't need to be the fucking scorekeeper. And this is what a lot of times, and it hurt me. After that, I didn't try out again and I practiced with the team, and I felt below the team by taking that position because I didn't do what it was going to take the next year to be on that team. And I'm saying this is what a lot of people do in a breakup. Instead of being dignified, accepting the situation with clarity and honesty, and going, you know what? It hurts like hell. This is going to be really tough, but I need to work on who I am as an individual. I need to get some knowledge. I need to get some clarity, and I need to get a path for myself right now because I'm not the fucking water boy. I'm not going to go back to this individual and be someone below the person I was when I first met them. Does that make sense? If you do write a letter, you're not doing that to get them back. You're doing that for you. to reassure yourself they know how you feel and you are here for them. Now, don't overdo this. I don't actually suggest this, but most people ask me about this a lot. But if you're going to reassure them that they're here for them, it's not very attractive in most cases because they already know. Top 10 ways to break up the right way. Please chime in. Please let me know in the comments if you also have some ways that you think are the top 10 ways to break up. Top 10 ways to break up the right way. Number 1, be honest. Sounds simple, right? Is it simple? Be honest. You won't regret being honest because at the end of the day, when you look back, if shit didn't work out, shit didn't go right, and you go, well, I was being honest. That's dignified. That's clarity. That's strong. Number 2, get clear on why. Ask if you need to. If you need to ask that individual because you're confused or you don't know why, just get very crystal fucking clear on why you broke up. So you know. And that's a better way for you to accept it. You don't have to like it. It don't have to taste good, but you have to get clear instead of running your mind in different directions going, was it this? Was it that? Was it this? Was it that? And if you really can't tell because the individual on the other end wasn't honest, well, then you have to accept the fact that you don't have a lot of trust in that individual if you don't believe their story. And that's the clarity. Wait a minute. We broke up and I don't even believe their story. Fuck, we don't have as much trust as I thought we did. Maybe that's the reason we broke up because our connection, our communication wasn't clear. And even at the end of it, I don't really think they were being honest with me. Well, that's clarity right there. Number 3, don't assume everything that is said is the only problem or real problem. So if they drop something that's petty, that seems like, I always hated it when you used to wear your shoes in the house because I like you to take your shoes off before you come in the house. They throw that one out while you're breaking up. And then afterwards you're going, what the fuck? We broke up because I didn't take my shoes off? No, that was just extra sauce, extra layers on top in the heat of the moment. It didn't have anything to do with that. You know that deep down. So don't hold on to some petty things that weren't the real problem. They just threw those in. Number 4, this is a big one. Don't dramify the situation. Don't dramify the situation. What do I mean by that? I'll never see you again. Using the word never is highly dramatic. It doesn't need to be used. It's used as a weapon to scare the other individual because whenever someone says the word never, it's a trigger in the human brain to go, really, I'll never see you again? I had a situation where I was talking to an individual and during their breakup, she took his house keys and threw them in a lake when they met up to talk about the breakup. And he's like, she went, to throw them in the lake. And he's like, what the fuck did you just do that for? Right? This is drama situation. If someone's acting this way in the breakup, that's also clarity for yourself. What kind of person is this individual? I said, what kind of person are you dealing with? She was highly immature. And then afterwards, she goes, actually, I didn't throw it in the lake. And she had it in her back hand. It's like drama, drama, drama. If you love each other and you had a good connection, don't get dramified. Don't create narratives that are going to hurt each other and go out of your way to create some Hollywood scene. Number 5, if emotions are high, speak at another time. Now, emotions are going to be high in a breakup, and there's going to have to be some moments where you guys share that, right? But overall, if your emotions are really high, you're really angry, you're really upset, you're hysterical, then you're just going to have to tell them, hold on, we're going to have to finish this conversation later on because you don't want to be saying things when you're highly, highly emotional. And that doesn't mean you're running away from the problem. It means that you're being honest with your feelings and you're saying, I need to talk about this another time. I need to gather myself. I need to go for a walk. I need to get away. I need to talk to a brother or sister or a friend or family member and just get out of this person's energy because it's not working right now. Because when you make comments or get in a fight, and like I said, it can go 0 to 100 in a breakup fight real quick. But on the flip side, identify that and go, wait a minute, I need to take a step back right now. You might need to just go in the other room. If you have an extra bedroom or something like that, just need to go in the other room right now and just take some deep breaths. Number 6, cry if you need to. It's okay to cry. Crying is actually very healthy for you when you're grieving. It might be better to do it in private. I don't think that's weak. I don't think that's running away. I don't have a problem with someone crying in front of an individual, but I think that people are able to let themselves cry deeper, better, and fuller when they're in private. And so I don't want you to hold back from crying. But again, if you have to go in the other room, if you have to go out to the car and give yourself a big deep breath and a big cry, that might be best. Or if you need to cry in a family member or a friend's arms, that's fine. If it's hard for you to do it in front of them, don't fight crying. Just maybe do it in private. Number 7, don't let your ego get in the way. Don't do things to win. A lot of times people at the end of a breakup, if they're competitive, they want to win. They want to be the one. You broke up with me? How am I going to get you back? How am I going to make you feel what I feel? Number 8, don't try to hurt them because you're hurting. And what I mean by that, people try to one up another person and really hurt them and say mean things. And then a month or 2 months later, they're sending me their story. They're talking to me. They're going, I said some really mean things I wish I didn't say. Hold back from that because you're hurting yourself further. Number 9, if the breakup is difficult for you to accept, stay in no contact. When do I use no contact? If you're having trouble accepting the breakup, if you're asking the same questions over and over again, if you're saying, I don't want to break up, then the best formula, the best recipe for you to move forward, the best recipe for you to start to accept it is no contact. Number 10, write your story out, send it into writemac.com, send it into another breakup coach, but get really clear on your story. Get someone's take that you respect, or get a live coaching session with myself or another breakup coach out there, or go to a therapist and talk it out. Talk to someone that you respect and you believe in. Don't talk to every Tom, Dick, and Harry family or friend member, because you're going to get spun in 10 different directions. All right? So I hope that helps. Brian, thanks for staying on, my man. I would rather be told that we were never going to be together versus ghosted and blocked. That's true. I did that. I asked way too many people, told them too many details. I asked her over and over, was there someone else when we were communicating? She got frustrated. Well, there you go. It comes up a lot. It's very common. It's not just you, Brian. It's the way it is when you're in a breakup. And you understanding that now and realizing that, maybe in this chat, maybe in this live stream, maybe it'll help you get some clarity. Because what you were doing when you were asking that individual the same question, or if they were with someone else, you were trying to find reasons, because the reasons that they were giving, you weren't accepting them. It wasn't enough. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't what you wanted to hear. It wasn't what you liked. And so instead of going, all right, fuck this, I'm going to accept it, I'm going to move forward, I'm going to go straight into no contact, you did the opposite, and you went, no, maybe if I keep asking the same question, I'll get a different answer. And when you really think about that, it's not a good way to go. But you can't see yourself in the breakup when you're hurting, when you're down and out. You can't see yourself. You can't see your act. You can't videotape yourself. And so in the heat of the moment, that's why I'm saying, if you catch yourself in that moment and you catch yourself going, damn, I keep asking the same question. And they'll say it to you. They'll say, you keep asking me the same questions. I keep giving you the same answers. No, I'm not seeing someone else. No, I'm not. And like I said before, if you don't believe their answer, well, one of your issues is trust. Because if you break up and you don't trust that individual, that they're telling you the truth at the end of the breakup, when I look back at some of my breakups, at the end, even if you don't like it, or you're telling them why you broke up, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're telling you the truth. What else do you got? What else do you got from them? I was in denial what was happening. Well, that's good for you to realize that right now, Brian, because that takes a while, because people in denial, it's like a sickness. Everyone around them is like, wow, is this person seeing what I'm seeing? Right? And I hope that this particular live stream, even though we don't have a lot of people on right now, Brian's running as the right-hand man. It's something you can overcome. Denial is something you can overcome. Let me ask you this, Brian. Have you overcome the denial part? Do you feel like you're at a point now where I mentioned you got your dignity, you got clarity on what happened, you're accepting it? Do you feel like you have those on deck? Because those are the things in my mind. Dignity, honesty, clarity, and acceptance. Those are the things that are strong. That's when you can walk away and you can have your head high and you got your balls in your hand. And you go, all right, I dealt with this. I'm not in denial. Do you got that? Because I know your particular breakup was tough, man. And every breakup's got a little different twist, a little nuance, a little turn, a little thing here. And that's why when you go to your friends and family, all they're gonna do is project whatever happened in their breakups because that's all they know. They're not experienced in helping someone out. That accepted parts I struggle with. All right, let's unpack that a little bit then, since you're the one solo artist on here chatting with me. How do we get to a place where we accept the breakup? What other choice do you have? Let's ask that question, Brian. What other choice do you have but to accept it? Right? What's the alternative? To hope, wish, and pray that they come back to you, or to hit them back and ask them, are they still interested in you? Or go to the gym and start hoping that they notice that you've been going to the gym and you're making more money at your job. The strongest, most dignified, most proud thing you can do, where a year or 2 years down the road and you go, fucking, I accepted that shit. I had a situation. This is a good friend of mine. This individual has a lot of pride, a lot of dignity, and he's just a good human being. He's a really good friend of mine, probably one of my best friends. He was in the hospital, and it was pretty serious. I think he had a brain aneurysm, if I remember correctly, and he was scared. And his bill at the hospital was going up. He didn't have full insurance at the time, and I was visiting him. We've been friends now for about 10 years. And this is a guy that had, like I said, he wouldn't just ask you for money. He wouldn't just ask you for anything. And he's like, mate, can I borrow a little bit of money for the doctor? And at the time, I didn't have a lot of extra money. And I had just let someone about a year earlier borrow a significant amount of money for a medical situation. Now, I didn't regret loaning them the money because the individual had cancer and they had nowhere else to go. And the individual asked me, say, hey, look, I won't sweet talk around it. I need to borrow $600. And then 2 weeks later, I need to borrow $600. And then 2 weeks later, it was like, the guy had cancer. He had terminal cancer. I couldn't say no. I never got $1 back from that money. It's almost $2,000. It's almost $2,000. And this individual, he had a restaurant. And so he'd give me free food and he'd talk to me. And he was getting a little delirious because he was stage 4 cancer and he had tubes wrapped up. And so what do? This person's dying. You're gonna be like, hey, can you give me my money? And my girlfriend at the time was like, he paid you yet? He's done this. And I said, you know what? I thought about it. He's giving me free meals at the restaurant. I didn't do that to get paid back. At the end of the day, I'm not going to have a regret helping out someone that had stage 4 cancer, even though they didn't pay me back. And it bothered me deep down because he said he was going to pay me back. And I just don't think he had the extra money. What pissed me off is when I saw he made some new menus and a new sign and hadn't paid me yet. That being said, passed away within 6 months. And then I really didn't regret it at all, because I said, you know what? If you don't have the extra money, Mac, don't make loans to friends. So this, fast forward about 6 months or a year later, this other friend's in the hospital. He doesn't have cancer, but he's got something where he's been in the hospital for a month. So I go, it's like, mate, do you think you can let me borrow some money? And I had let him borrow some money before and he had paid me back. I said, man, I'm sorry, but I just had someone burn me for, 60,000 baht, which is like $2,000. And I go, I just told myself I'm not going to loan any money. And my friend looked at me and he went, okay. And it was beautiful because it was just acceptance. It was just the way he accepted it. He didn't go, oh, come on, man. He just went, okay. Because he knew deep down I had my reasons. He knew that I had lent him money in the past and he didn't need to hear anything more from me. And I had so much fucking respect in that moment because it was hard for me to say no. But afterwards, I felt a little bit guilty. And he's like, mate, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Say no more. I'll ask someone else. And he never brought it up again. He never said anything after. He was able to get some money from some other people. It's always hard to ask to borrow money when you're in the hospital or something like that. It's tough. But the way he handled that in that fucking moment, he's in a hospital bed, and I said, I'm really sorry. He goes, it's okay. No problem. And he kind of put his eyes down, but he let it go. Never brought it up to me again. That's acceptance. Now, that's not from a breakup. It's difficult, but I had so much fucking respect the way he handled that. It was so dignified, right? I've had people talk to me about the money thing or breakups, and then you get into, well, I did all this. They took me for granted. They took me for granted. If they took you for granted or they didn't take you for granted, it doesn't fucking matter. You're broken up, right? You know what I mean? So the dignity part of accepting it, when you get to that point and accept it, and sometimes the words that are used, Brian, I'm done. I know in my mind, I've made a video about that in the past, and I've heard other people say, I go, well, what? Because I'll ask people that have come out of a breakup or they're doing better, and I'm like, well, what happened? They're like, well, I just decided I'm done. Those are usually the words. I'm done trying. I'm done hoping. I'm done wishing. I'm done chasing. I'm done beating myself up. I'm done not forgiving myself. I'm done. Those are words that you use with yourself. And it sounds like for you, Brian, because I know your story, you got to forgive yourself, dude. And I mean that. You got to go look in the mirror and you go, I forgive myself. I did the best I could. And this is the words you want to use. I did the best I could knowing what I know. And I had good intentions and it didn't work out. And I regret some things and I've learned some things. But I forgive myself because in that moment, I thought I was doing the best I could. I think it will happen eventually if I stay off her social media. Well, that's a start. Yeah, I wish I could take things back I did after the breakup because, like I said, I didn't think we were actually done this time. But now you got to get to a point where you're like, we are done. I'm done. Not if she's done, or I wonder if she's done, or this. There's a lot of power in that. There's a lot of, like I'll say it again, dignity, strength, and saying, I'm done with the chase. I'm done trying to apologize. I'm moving forward. It's going to be tough. It hurts. It's tough, but I'm done. I'm moving forward. I'm okay with it. I accept it. And right now, you just being able to say the acceptance parts is the struggle, LOL. The fact that you can laugh about it a little bit loosens it up and helps things. And just say to yourself, I don't know if you're into affirmations or, everyone talks to themselves here and there. Sometimes people say, yeah, sometimes I talk to myself, and a lot of people do. Whether you're doing it out loud or in your mind and say, you know what? I accept it. I understand why we broke up and what happened. And I'm okay with it. I'm going to be okay and I'm going to move forward. You got to look at it that way, bud. And when you start looking at it that way, it's not like it's going to be showering gold nuggets out of the sky or anything like that and rainbows all around, but it'll get a little bit better, a little bit better, and a little bit better. And stay the hell off that social media. That's the absolute gospel. You know that. Anyone else out of the others that are on the live stream right now that want to ask a couple questions? This was actually going to be a short live stream anyways. Thanks, Brian, for making it something. You never know when you do these live streams. You never know what the topic's going to be or if the topic's going to be exciting or interesting to a lot of people. Sometimes people jump on. Any other questions? I got a few more minutes. Nope. Let's see here. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes if someone jumps on. Nope. No problem. You got the LOL though, Brian. How's the new job, bud? I know you changed jobs. I know you had an apartment that you wanted to leave, but you had to stay in. So we got a couple of things that you've been working on that are outside of the relationship. Is the job well? It's always bittersweet when you start a new job because you got to learn shit. It's always uncomfortable when you're like, everyone around there is doing everything efficiently, moving around, knowing what they're doing. You walk in the place, you're like, what the fuck? I don't know how to do this. You got to ask someone for help. What's up, Dylan? Tough, being honest. The new job? Anytime you start a new job, it can be tough, man. Well, leave your options open. If you're in a place right now, get creative. Is there, with your skill set, or I don't know what your skill set is, or what you're up to. Um, if you really don't like the job, you're not in a position where it's a career. Um, then start looking for a different one. That's not you being a quitter. That's you identifying it as a job you don't like. I've had a couple jobs before where I was like, you know what, this ain't gonna be the one for long term for Mac. No way, Jose. No way, Jose. Um, Shit, when I was talked about this before, I was 17 or 18. Oh, I just don't know anything. All right, well, fuck, man. It just takes time. Then get yourself a mentor, get someone that can help you out. Tag along with them. Ask when you get a mentor, you get someone in the office. I've always been good with people, so and it's natural. It's not like I'm like kissing ass or something like that. It's funny when people start a new job, and I don't know how many people work there, and someone comes in and they're just like really chummy and trying really hard. The best way to start a job is to work hard, do what you're told, and help other people out wherever you can. That's the best way. And people notice that you work, you don't complain, you don't come in late. Those things just stack up, and they're like, oh, this person earned their key. They earn their keep, and this is a person I like to work with. And then you go out to lunch with some people and you start easing in. Usually takes 2 or 3 months. I've had a lot of different jobs, different places. Um, but I remember whenever someone new starts and they're trying really hard to fit in or do things, the best way to fit in is do your fucking job. Do it to your best ability. Be honest when you don't know the answer to something or you need help, and ask. And if someone's a jerk to you, don't react. Dylan, how you doing? Thanks for joining, Dylan. I'm probably going to be off pretty soon. This was going to be a short one anyways, but Brian Union has held it down on the live stream on a solo act for most of this one. I appreciate it. What's the ideal way to end the breakup? This wasn't the any other questions, folks? Work on that. You don't need to work on that acceptance, Brian. You just need to accept it. It'll come, bud. It'll come. Sorry, Dylan. It's towards the end. You came on a little bit late. I will be doing maybe a live stream later on tonight, Dylan. So if I get to it later on tonight, let me know. Is there a topic you were before I get off here, just for Brian and Dylan, since you were riders today? Do you guys have a topic you want me to touch on in a future live stream? You want to jump? You want to throw one out? Dylan or Brian? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dun 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 dun. That answers my next question then. No topic for the future. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's gonna be curtains.